that in the chat. So if you're here for the first time, this might be new for you. So what we share is our name is already there, so don't have to share that. Where you're zooming in from, and scale of 1 to 10, how you're feeling this morning. 10 being awesome, 1 being feeling kind of crappy this morning. So I'm gonna put my headset on. So yeah, love to hear from you. Surgery. Oh, you're finally having it, Brian. Peter from Brattleboro. Yay. Feeling lowish this morning. An 8.3. Ooh, how specific, Neil. Crystal, looks like I'm going to guess you're zooming in from Virginia.
Yes.
And you're feeling good. Let's see. I'm here from Lexington, Mass. And how am I feeling this morning?
Don't know yet.
Like an 8 approaching a 9.
So it's an 8.3 or an 8.7.
It'd be an 8.3. An 8.7. Feeling a relaxed 8-ish from the warm water. Did you swim this morning? Already?
No, I didn't swim this morning, but I've been swimming every day. So the water is warm here.
Nice.
Yeah.
So welcome back to Brent and Amy, and welcome Joanna and Holly. If you guys, I always invite you to put your video on if you can, just so we can see you. And also, however you are, I always say this is completely welcome. So, you know, last week I was in my pajamas, and you are welcome to be in your pajamas too. Hey, Edie. And I always say, like, if you keep your video on, and if you have to walk away like Peter and Holly, doesn't matter. Just leave the video on, no problem. And if you can't have a video on, because I know some of you absolutely cannot, that's okay too. But it helps keep the room safe. So just inviting everybody who's getting here this morning to say hello in the chat, let us know where you're zooming in from, and scale of 1 to 10 how you're feeling, so we can all sort of connect with you and also just get a feeling around, how you guys are doing and how the room is this morning.
So any way we are, we can come, but I don't think you want to see me in what I sleep in.
Well, maybe not. Zoom has rules about that.
Right. We'll do that privately.
Okay, so I am going to welcome Christine. Hey, Mitchell, good to see you again. I've been missing you. I know you've been on vacation. All right, I am going to just send one reminder to somebody who wanted a reminder. And then we'll begin.
There's a beautiful palm and water and the beautiful woman in front of it.
Yeah.
Where is that?
Virtual Hawaii.
Yes, virtual Hawaii. All right. Okay, no worries. All right, we're all good. Virtual Hawaii, that's good.
Oh dear. And here I am feeling jealous about virtual Hawaii.
Oh, virtual Hawaii.
I was there in March until about the 19th, so that I like to remember that.
Nice. Nice.
Thanks, Joanna, for checking in, and Brent. And okay, I'm going to mute all, and I'm going to hit record. Maureen, you're muted just for right now, but you can unmute yourself. Oh, we're already recording? How is that possible? Okay, well, somebody stepped in and hit record for me. So welcome everybody. That's funny. Welcome everybody to the Daily Intimacy. It's Tuesday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Time. And don't ask me what the day is, but I guess it's August 11th. Anyway, I am so happy to be here this morning every week, and so happy to be here with Maureen, who I will introduce to you in just a moment. But what I'd like to begin with is a centering. So if you could find a place to be comfortable, if you're not already, you can lie down, stand up, sit, whatever works for you. Welcome everybody who's here for the first time. I see some new faces, which is really fun. All right, so I'm going to invite everybody to have a nice deep breath and gently close your eyes. So let's take 3 cleansing breaths from, I don't know, from nighttime sleep to greet ourselves this morning. So if you can get the breath in through the nose and all the way down to the pelvis. And allow yourself to exhale with a sound or a sigh. And even though I can't hear you, I'm just imagining all of the beautiful voices and all the beautiful sounds coming from our humanness this morning. And as you breathe, I invite you to see all of us gathered this morning in the woods, somewhere incredibly beautiful. Perhaps it's someplace where you've been before, or someplace just in your mind's eye that you imagine. All of us gathering together under the trees with the warmth of the sun, just peeking through that morning sun, you know, through the leaves and the branches. And you can kind of catch a little bit of the sun and then the coolness of the shade. And you can see all of us in one big circle. And before we take a moment to look into each other's eyes, I invite you just to sense the energy in the circle. Feel into the gathering space. Not only what's happening for you in this moment, but also what you're noticing in others and in the energy of the circle itself. And just notice what that is. No right or wrong, whatever you perceive. And as you continue to breathe in the energy of the forest and the energy of the circle and the energy of the sun, I invite you to become aware of 3 things you're grateful for. And as you name them to yourself, just see if you can feel the energy of them as well, so that it becomes a more embodied experience rather than just one from the mind or the head. Allow yourself to bathe in the energy of gratitude, no matter what's going on. And with that, I invite you to take a really deep, deep, deep breath. Exhale. Maybe a little bit of a shake anywhere in your body that needs a little waking up, a little stretch. Yeah, a little pat on the body like Andrew's doing. And then gently open your eyes. And before I introduce Maureen, I'd love you to look around the room, just thinking about us gathering in the circle in the woods, and then opening our eyes and then having a chance to look at everybody who's there. So most of us need to scroll our screen to see each other. And for those of you that are not on video, we're just imagining your beautiful selves. Oh, thanks, Brian. I think you just turned your video on. That was cool. Thank you. Nice to see you. Yeah, so just take a look at who's here. Kind of these amazingly beautiful people all gathered in one place. It's awesome. Okay. So thanks for coming, everybody. It's so nice to see you, all of you. And I'm so happy to have you here, Maureen. I'm gonna ask, do I have to ask you to unmute? I just asked you to unmute.
Okay, there I am.
Were you not able to unmute yourself, by the way? Just curious.
I don't know, because I just tried after it said for you.
Okay.
You said unmute myself, so I don't know about before that.
Okay, great. Yeah, Zoom changes some things. So as you know, those of you that have been coming, and just sharing for those of you that are here for the first time, that we love to have people share. So I may have to unmute you, I don't know. But anyway, if you put me in the chat, we will know that you want to share something or ask Maureen a question or just say hello. So we really encourage that. So most of you know, but not all of you, I guess, that Maureen Whitehouse is somebody who's been a significant part of my life for the last 11 years. I think that we met in 2009. And I met Maureen after experiencing a significant loss in my life. And I was poking around the internet looking for something, I don't know what, something else.
I remember specifically, you said you were working on your website with someone, and you were looking at food and spirituality and
but what happened was I spelled the word wrong and it popped up. And then I thought, oh my God, who is this person? So I reached out, and it was just this whole series of coincidences, because Maureen, as I remember it, you thought you were sort of in hiding because you had just come back to Cambridge. And anyway, we found each other, and it's been an incredible growth. There's not even any words for how incredible the growth has been for me. I thought I was pretty happy at the time, realized quickly that I wasn't actually that happy, and have done an incredible amount of inner work with you. And the gratitude is immense and beyond. So thank you so much for being here. I'm gonna turn it over to you to share, anything more about yourself, but also, where we're headed today, which I love the topic.
Yeah, so do I. I love this topic right now for everyone, because I really feel that if you've taken the time out of your life to gather here, then you're ready for this, that you know that you're more of a catalyst here for change than you are someone who's gotten caught up in the catastrophic events or anything that could feel as though it's very challenging right now. Okay, so I'm Maureen Whitehouse, and I've been, I guess you can call it, a spiritual teacher for over 20 years now. I woke up overnight, had done a lot of spiritual work with A Course in Miracles, had an awakening experience where day and night completely different. One day woke up realizing that there was so much more and could see through the veil, I guess is what I'll call it. And so I was in the middle of an everyday life and existence with small children, going to PTA meetings, doing things like a normal person. And then I could see in a completely different light. So, and then what I saw is that we are all living in a miraculous world, and that truly there's no one left out. And that when we are missing it, it's as though we're sleepwalking, and no one's in a problematic situation, no matter how it could appear to be. We are all privy to a life of grace, and we can access it at any time. And what I realized then is that we are in a world that has two parallel realities. One is the reality with the capital R, where things are really perfect. And I could say I used to do a lot of things like prison work and things when I first popped out, because that's where I got sent. And I remember being in prison in South Boston and saying, it's all perfect. And they look at me like, you are out of your mind, lady. And yet when I'd start to be able to talk to them intimately about their lives, they could see the perfect order of things. And I think everyone here acknowledges that if you look in hindsight often, you'll see, wow, I would never have known how seamlessly those kinds of things come together. So we're at a perfect place right now. You know, I've been doing this about 24 years with people, helping them see through their life's greatest challenges and pain. And that's pretty much when people find me. A lot of times people find me. Robyn was an exception in that there were some things that were challenging in her life, but not in the throes of pain. Typically people find me when they've gone to every other resource and can't come out the other side. So I work with a lot of people who are also in the trenches as healers, and people who are psychotherapists and psychologists, and people who've worked the traditional route with people to happiness and health and wellness. And they themselves want to realize there must be more than this. And there is, fortunately, there is. I mean, we're in a world that is eternally oriented, the truth of us. We're not in a finite existence. And no matter how much it appears to be that for everyone, since that's the world we typically navigate, where the this and that of life is the constant exchange with people, underneath that is this parallel, beautiful reality. And the way that we access it, I'm sure that everyone here has had windows of this, is vertically. We're moving along in time and space horizontally. And to access the world of truth, I'll call it with a capital T, where everything's perfect and we're all just fine, and it's only peace and love and all the things that we had hoped were true. Everything you ever wished was real truly is. And we access that here when we're so oriented towards this horizontal experience of past, present, future. We access that world by going vertical. And that's when you've done this, I'm sure, multiple times through prayer or meditation, when you stop the activity and you collect yourself to go inward, like we did with the breaths before this in meditation. Whenever you're in a place that you deliberately move into a receptivity that's allowing you to access something more, it's there. So the challenge is that we move typically so fast, and we're so captivated by this amazing world that we've created, because we are like the ray of the sun. Above all of this is the divine, the energy of the creator. And we're like the rays of the sun. We're on earth. And the divine stays in this beautiful place of sweet repose, knowing that everything's perfect. It's the light. It's illuminating everything. And there's no this and that there. It's only perfect love. And anyone who's had an experience like a near-death experience, you see when people come back from that, how it's sort of like you view this world a little bit lighter, with a lot more levity, and more like it's a joke, that we could never be separate from our divinity, and we forgot. So we're captivated with all this world of separation, when in reality we never left home, literally never left home. So we can experience, the good news is I've been in this world now in a physical body about 23, 24 years since I first woke up. And I realized, so I left and came back. So I experienced the classic near-death experience, where your life goes in front of your eyes. But when that happened, when I saw my life, it was interesting. I saw all the pain and problems I had experienced. And I was seeing things that were really devastating to me in my life. And in the background of it, I felt like a rumble of joy. It was like a rolling thunder of laughter, saying, now you see how I see. Now you see how I see. And I viewed all my life's worst circumstances with the eyes of the divine, knowing I was never separate from the divine. And literally, it was hilarious. It was hilarious. And the things were not hilarious, obviously, that I was experiencing. Things like miscarriages, they were big things. And Yet I realized it all happened because my pain was based on my idea that I had been dropped and that I better get my way through this. I better work my way through this challenge by myself. You know, if I don't do it, what happens then? I die. And I believed in death, obviously. In this experience, there is obviously no death, because all there was the feeling of, you know, taking off a tight shoe and being completely released to be at one with the most powerful love I have ever felt. And beyond explanation of any kind, there's no way to explain it, because it becomes all. It becomes everything, and there is no other. And when that happens, you know you're one with that. So you're knowing you're one with God. And then coming back here, the interesting thing was, it was such a stunning experience and revelation that when I came back, I was on fire. You know, I've only known people to explain something like this. If you look at lives of mystics and saints, you know, from the 1400s, 1500s, they'll talk about how they're on fire for God. And I was literally feeling like I was on fire. And I went to the bathroom to wash my face, to compose myself, because the kids were sleeping in my bed with me because my husband was out of town. And I went to splash water on my face, and when I came up, I saw myself without a body. And I can only tell you, the face that I saw looking back at me was a beautiful light being, with eyes that were looking at me with such love that my knees almost buckled. I was love, looking at myself in the mirror. And I was shocked when I saw that. And at that time, I had a life that was very normal. I was a commercial actor, had been a model for many years, and I had worked with exquisitely beautiful people all over the world. I looked at that face in the mirror, and I never saw anyone anywhere near that could touch that. And in that moment, I recognized that's all of us. That's all of us. Every single one of us. And we don't know it. So it's like we're living in a costume party here on Earth. And I never could, that's always in my awareness and consciousness. I've never left that. I lived for 3 days where my mind was still, completely still. And I went to pick up the kids at school, and I went to craft stores, and I went to, at the time, Kmart, and things to do everyday normal life, food, shopping. And at every turn, I couldn't stop crying, because everything was beautiful. Everything was orchestrated to perfection. The people crossing each other with the carts in the parking lot were specifically at the specific place at that specific time to smile, to say something with a happy heart. Now, compare that right now to what we're experiencing, that we are placed where we are to be the light. That's the divine intention. Now, contrast that and why people could be experiencing a catastrophe if you're going to, you know, Walmart and fighting people over not having a mask. When this is a mask, and then we're talking about you're there and I'm here, and polarizing everything these days. We came here specifically for one reason and one reason only, to be the light. And we are that in reality. When we act as though we're anything else, then we move into a world that's chaos and confusion. And we're taking it to the hilt right now, because I think so many of us are so exhausted of this costume masquerade. And we don't want to live this life where we constantly feel there must be more than this, especially when it's in this challenging, chaotic time. And we're waking ourselves up. That's what I saw in that seeing my life go before my eyes. Every experience that I had was what I could tolerate as a human, to the point of really needing to get out of this, to get out of the circumstance, to remember and remind myself of my divinity. And what are they going to tell you on planet Earth if you have a problem? Take this pill, go for this, go on a shopping spree, go, eat this kind of food because this will fix you or help you. And I've written books about food and spirituality, so I understand moving into a whole orientation here and using the things in life to live a beautiful, productive, creative, happy, healthy life. But we came here specifically for one reason. We came here to be the light. And when we forget that, all manner of chaos happens. So collectively, we've forgotten. There are many that are here to remind people like Robyn, and people who are here, I'm sure many of you are here on a day-to-day basis to help people, to heal people. You might be doing massage with people or things that help them move into a way of self-embrace. But the only way to get back to the remembrance that we're the light is to first and foremost treat ourselves with kindness and love and respect, because this is a challenge being in a human body when that's not our natural home. Everyone here is experiencing the same challenge. So even that should be enough to have us feel full of compassion. And then when someone's feeling this challenge of being in a human body and it's sick on top of that, then we start to feel a little bit more compassion, because maybe that sick person isn't the threat that they used to be when they were healthy and whole and successful, and we were having competition in our minds. So we don't want to evolve by devolving, by having to have everybody else have the worst, horrible, catastrophic life, and we're the only ones that are elevated and happy enough because, we're moving in our own ways, like hoarding toilet paper. I realized this was an interesting one, Robyn. I realized why everyone was hoarding toilet paper. First chakra, safety and security. If everybody's needing safety and security, and you got these big, fluffy, puffy things looking like clouds, and it's very tangibly this first chakra energy, that's why everybody was running for toilet paper. So we keep this world, when we're talking like this, the world of the miraculous, everything here is a symbol. Everything. Our health and well-being, the occupations we choose, the relationships we have, the things that we surround ourselves with, everything is a symbol of one or two things. Is it love, or is it a call for love? Because truly love is the only reality. So we either are in a place where we're acknowledging that we're the light and we're the love and we're one with the great creator and we're the ray of the sun touching the earth, and we're having more of a vertical experience. Because in my experience of being here since for the last 20 some years, what I've noticed is that whenever there's a challenge, and people are always, again, coming to me often with challenges that are playing out on the worldly plane, in the world of form, in this horizontal world where there's a past, present, future. So say someone has a sickness or an illness. I'm talking with several people now who have COVID and who are at the same time have cancer. That's a pretty challenging circumstance. What am I going to do with that with somebody? Can anybody guess? I'm bringing them to the light. Look, and I'm not believing in their body at all at this point. What good is that going to do them? For me to think of them as a body right now, they have doctors and nurses in the hospital taking care of that. I just got to keep them in the mind that they know that they're miraculous. Because if they're miraculously oriented and they're in a vertical place, I'll tell you this, if you're starting to get short of breath, and you're in a vertical place, you're more oriented towards breathlessness and being in the divine state. That's not scary then, that's actually blissful. And there are things that we don't really practice here on planet Earth that make our lives here much more capable of being consistently peaceful and consistently really powerfully, profoundly revelatory. And we are more captivated by the things like the news. And I can tell you this, I know a lot of people are captivated by the news right now because you want to stay up on things, even though I'm sure many of you realize that for the past 4 months or so, the news doesn't even know what it's reporting. People are so confused that it keeps going around and round in circles, and you could literally turn off the news and come back to it 2 weeks later and miss the whole chaotic up and down, back and forth between, you know, were masks good or masks not good, or people going to have this or that, and then come out, if you stay peacefully in your own world and in your own space, and find out what people have come to through the ups and downs. If you're paying too much close attention to the chaos going on in the world right now, I can tell you that people are riding this part of things with a this and that. And if you're focusing on things like self-protection, things that are only oriented towards you and not win-win, when you go out into the world right now, I'm going to give us some steps here. How to stay in a place that feels much more like you're a catalyst for change, or that you're the embodiment of peace in this place where there is chaos reigning and you could be oriented easily towards catastrophe. Just turn on the news. So, first thing, since we ride this world every day in that horizontal experience, you want to prepave your way in the mornings. You want to bless it. You want to bring that light to bear. So before you even open your eyes, before you even get out of bed in the morning, the moment that you come into awareness, click in. Imagine yourself being like a light, like a lamp. If you don't plug the lamp in, you're not going to get light. If you just plug the lamp in, no problem. The light's easy, on, off, easy. But you've got to plug in. And if you're not plugged into the source of who you are, you're going to take all other kinds of identities all along the way. Any kind of identity can be sprinkled into your day. The person who's combative with somebody who you meet who's too close on the street. The person who loves your puppy and feels happy and contented for a moment. The person who didn't eat well enough yesterday and now they're beating themselves up over that. So you can have 1,000 identities. That's us. We're creative. And all of those identities in the world and this and that, some feel good, some don't feel good, but none of them are the real you anyway. You can feel strong one moment and you can feel weak the next. But the truth of you is very clear and unambiguous, but a little bit unquantifiable for people who are intellectually oriented. You're the light. Now, if you feel that that's an egotistical statement, think about that for a moment. Ponder that for a moment. The light. Is there anything about the light that you can even grab or grasp that's quantifiable enough to have an ego around? It is only what you make it be. You shine it brighter in times of challenge. You hold it to yourself and you feel beautiful and blissful. There's nothing but love to it. No division, no separation, no this or that, no choice, just the light. And if you click in, plug into the source of you in the morning before you even open your eyes, then when you open your eyes, bless your immediate self, your immediate body. This has to become your best friend. Because why would you not choose to have this be your best friend when it's with you 24/7? Again, not arrogant or egotistical. It's your vehicle for communication. Got to treat it really well. And when you plug into the source of you who loves you impeccably, who is the love that you are, then the next natural thing to do is love this vehicle that's taking you around everywhere. And have it feel as light as possible, so that there's not a whole cluttered mind full of to-dos and tasks, and just let it all go, let it go, let it go. If you plug in, I promise you, you will never be in the wrong place at the wrong time. You'll be told exactly where to go, what to do, what to say, and to whom. And there's a prayer that I've kind of modified from A Course in Miracles that it states specifically, this is the most powerful prayer. And I've modified it a little bit to make it succinct. I say it all day, every day. Tell me where to go. Tell me what to do. Tell me what to say and to whom. And I will to do it. Feel that I will. Our will is our power center, our gut. You know, when you're following your gut, you're being told more than your mind could ever know. I will to do it. It's not I will do it. I will to do it. It shows that you have a choice here. We have free will. Is it free or is it bound? Feel your gut right now. Feel your gut when you turn on the news. And how it can turn and be twisted, and you can have all kinds of, the world is having a lot of more challenges with IBS these days. Now there's a label for it. Because at our core, we're like a light shining, and the more expansive we are, the more powerful we emanate the light, the more freeing it feels. But that's moving from your gut. Tell me where to go, tell me what to do, tell me what to say and to whom, and I will to do it and nothing more. The nothing more is where we typically get ourselves into trouble. You just said something important and then you gotta go on. And then the person shuts down. You just did something beautiful and then you had to add that extra thing. The ego loves to overperform. The ego literally could be labeled a performance pig. Can't stop performing. So when you feel like you're never enough, it's because you've been in the ego mode. The light of the world is always enough, even when you're just being. So you get yourself plugged in, you say that prayer. I invite everybody to write it down. I'll write it down at the end so people can have it. Let yourself know that you're connected then. And if you're connected, then what happens is, and I've been living this now for over 20 years, so I know this is the truth just because I lived this. Anywhere you go, no matter what's happening outside then in the world, you can go shopping during a pandemic, supermarket kind of thing. I will tell you this, I'm hooked in and clicked in all the time. I've been wearing a mask since day one. Because that feels to me like a win-win. Any symbol I can have on planet Earth that feels loving, and I don't feel like I'm ever gonna be smothered, because if I'm gonna be smothered, I take it off at the right time. I have my connection to my inner being that knows what's in my best interest, that tells me what to eat and what to do during my day. And if from the moment that this began, I got told to put on a mask, it felt to me like that was a respectful gesture, if nothing more. It was a gesture that I felt that if I had any way to connect with someone else in a respectful way, that's what I would do. And I will tell you this, if you need outer authorities to tell you what's healthy for you, then you've got to spend more quality time with yourself. Really, truly. And that includes even, again, I'm speaking to people who are in the hospital with COVID right now. And at that time, they have people coming in, and I could show you a screenshot of what they're getting for lunch. Cake with sprinkles on it and soda in the hospital with COVID. And that's okay if you're going to bless it first and you're going to be someone who knows that you can transcend things. But typically when we're in the hospital with a very challenging circumstance, we need a little leg up on the ladder, like maybe a green salad on our plate to make us feel like we're eating a little healthy. So again, everything on earth is a symbol. And you can feel symbols of connect or disconnect when you're connected. You can feel if someone's connected a mile away if you're connected. And they can feel that you're connected too, I promise you. So that means that if you're out in the world and you're connected and you come in this horizontal world, but you're living a vertical world of being the light of the divine, you know that if you go to circumstances that are challenging, that you're sent. Because this world is a world of this and that, of light and dark and all kinds of things that are happening for people. And if you've plugged in that morning and you're the light, and you wind up walking into the middle of a place that looks like there's chaos, believe me, you're going to step back and shine. Remember, it's the ego that overperforms. And you'll be told specifically what to do in specific circumstances. So I personally would not move out into the world during a pandemic if I weren't connecting first. And when I move out, it's always from a place of connection. So I don't know if it's for me to say something happy or peaceful or centering to the person who's checking out my groceries, or if I'm the person that's meant to say something to someone else who I don't know until I arrive. But I do know that anything that I do will feel much more tangibly like it's a vertical connection to the divine than it is for any purpose out here. So I hope that that gives you a little bit of insight in how to begin to feel connected, because that's the big thing that takes us from chaos and cataclysmic circumstances into a place where you are the one who's the catalyst. You don't want to move into a place where you feel like you want to make change unless you're connected first. Because we don't need any more change that's chaotic going on out there. We don't need, like, really everyone's felt, maybe it's just time to sit. If you just sit on a couch and don't move, you'd be okay. And if you get that you can be comfortable just sitting on the couch and not moving, and you can be comfortable in your own world, making yourself a nice tea or a nice lunch that's self-nourishing and nurturing, and then filling yourself up to overflowing first before you go out to engage with the world. Now you're ready to help make change. Now you're ready to be the catalyst. Because as you're connected to love, and as you're connected to really treasuring and cherishing and honoring yourself and the vehicle that you abide within, then you can be the example of that and the bringer of that light and peace and presence and love to everyone else. And it never feels like loss. It always feels like when you show up to other people, it amplifies your power and intention. Anything worth having, we don't have unless we give it away. By that I mean, if you have peace, true peace, and you give it away, you're getting more of it. Go to the store peacefully, give it away, you'll come back with more of it. If you have love within you and you give it away, true love, it's going to come back and you're going to have more of it. If you have presence and you show up with presence and you give it away, even when people are not present at all, and you stay present, you'll come back with more of it. So watch how the things that you're doing now and the things that you're focusing on now, you can quantify whether or not they're important by if you can feel yourself enjoying and being captivated and feeling delight in them yourself, so much so that you're so full, that you're so happy with what you've chosen to occupy your time and space with, that then when you engage with other people, you're giving and sharing from the overflow, and then you see how it affects them, and you get more. All sacrifice and suffering is of the ego. There is absolutely no sacrifice or suffering or even concept of that in our divine self. Absolutely none. So when we feel like we have to suffer in any way to help a cause, then come back in, reconnect, love yourself more. You could always use more self-love. Most people could use a lot more self-love. I mean, a lot more. A lot more. Way more than we imagine. And then when you feel overflowing, that might be the first time in your life you've allowed yourself to have that kind of experience. Take advantage of the interrupt, the pattern interrupt that we're in right now. A pattern interrupt is a vertical insertion of the divine. Might look like a roadblock to some people when it feels like, stop, don't work. But it's a vertical insertion for us to be able to say, uh-oh, horizontal world isn't working for me right now. Maybe I better slow down, stop, pay attention, and find out what will work. And by that, we have to ask the divinity of us. And the one thing I want to make really clear here now, asking the divine for help is never a challenge or a problem, because the divine doesn't have a different agenda than our own true happiness. Most people imagine that if they start giving up to that degree to the divine, that they're going to be on some kind of path that they never wanted to be on. I know I was at first when I started first reading A Course in Miracles before I knew anything. And I'd be like, oh, like what if I wake up to this divine voice and then all of a sudden it's telling me to do something completely different than what I want to do? Which, by the way, it did. And I'm really happy because in the beginning, the reason what I literally got into A Course in Miracles I found the book at a bookstore in Brookline between auditions, between commercial auditions. And my idea of a miracle, when I first saw it, miracles, a couple of national commercials that I can get residuals for and get paid money, coming in without working. That was my idea of a miracle. that was like as big as my bar, as high as my bar went. And then eventually I didn't even do that work anymore, because the work of being in the world as somebody who showed up awake and aware was so much more fun and captivating than even that, which I used to love. This life of being divinely oriented in every single way is surprising and delightful. We don't contrive the divine life because there's no fear making us have to micromanage our life as we move forward. It's a life that is a life of full surrender to knowing that the divine has our back, that we're never dropped, that wherever we go, we're complete. We're complete. Now, isn't that a novel idea? Wherever we go, we are already complete. That's what the divine tells us and knows about us. Can't be any more complete by anything you do with this physical body, because it's temporal and it's a vehicle for who you truly are. So breathe it in right now for a moment. Just breathe in that completion. It's a vertical experience. When you close your eyes, just close your eyes for one moment now. And you're going to see that you're in an unbounded space. There are no boundaries here. There's no edges. You already are in the door of the infinite. Just closing your eyes. And all you did for this moment is take your eyes off the outside world of this and that, where there's a place to go or a thing to do. So when you close your eyes, every time, just close your eyes, you're already in that unbounded doorway to the divine. Now, most people, when they close their eyes, see darkness. And I highly recommend that you stay in this space with your eyes closed on purpose, daily, until you begin to see the light when you close your eyes. That's meditation at best. When you just hang out in the unbounded space, no big agenda, just hang out there. And then ultimately watch what happens. The divine does it for you. You're going to see light when you close your eyes. So there's a lot of steps to this that we could take to get it a little more practical. I don't know if you guys want that. I'm going to take a pause right now to see if anybody has anything that they want me specifically to share, or if you have anything to share, any comments or anything, before I go into some little practical steps besides the main one I just related about tell me where to go, tell me what to do, tell me what to say, and to whom, and I will to do it, and nothing more. That also means you don't have to talk to people that you're not being told to talk to, by the way.
That's a good thing.
And start fights in supermarkets like some people are doing. Obviously, if they listened to their divine self, they would have been told, hey, not now. Maybe not now. Yeah.
So if anybody wants to say something or share or ask a question, just put me in the chat and then you can unmute. And we are coming sort of around the bend to closure. So
okay,
perfect.
To hear
from somebody, but yeah, whatever you would like.
Okay. All right, perfect. I see Marcy is on her way. So I'm just going to say quickly, I wrote down some things that'll make this more like steps here a little bit to just take with you as takeaways. First, catch your negativity early during this experience of our pandemic, where people could see this as a catastrophe. Catch negativity early, and if at all before it happens. First thing in the morning, like I said, let yourself be in that space. And if you begin to just notice and stop judging yourself, knowing that this is a challenging time to be human in a physical body, that if you feel negative at any time, then you want to catch it early on and say, I can see differently. I can see more than this. And don't put a finite end to those thoughts. That's why they get negative, because you think there's an end. There's always an and then there's this. In the divine world, there's always an and then there's this, because we are eternal and we're evolving. So no matter what's happening at any given time, thinking finitely is thinking in limited terms with judgment. And then there's this. The second one, avoid at best as possible the external stressors. So that means you're really waking up intentionally in the morning and motivating and orienting yourself towards things that are more comfortable and promote self-worth and self-allegiance and self-alignment. So avoid the outside stresses. I think everybody knows what their own personal stressors might be. Very good to say to people who may be the stressors or source of stressors, make me your last resort. You know, I'm collecting myself right now. Make me your last resort. That's not unloving or unkind. Just make me your last resort if it feels stressful for you to do anything. Develop a supportive inner dialogue. You really want to speak kindly to yourself. If you're doing something in the house, you know, doing dishes or things like, you're awesome. Great job doing the dishes. Think about how you would treat a little child who you're teaching how to have a happy, fun life, and have a supportive inner dialogue where you're deliberately treating yourself kindly from the inside out. Keep company with positive, optimistic people. Let yourself know that those are the people who are going to be catalysts for change in their lives as well. You'll have great stories to share. You'll know that you're in the space where there is a possibility of heaven on earth. positive, supportive people. And you'll know that you're really being in a place where you're being heard and listened to when you're talking with people like that. Let yourself look to yourself for solutions, like the self with a capital S, self. At times where you feel like you could be alone, maybe that's because you haven't been listening to yourself enough, and the divine's giving you time and space to be able to cultivate a better inner capacity for an inner dialogue. So go inside and really feel things, and don't be afraid to feel during these times. Lots of times our tears of sadness or challenge or things that feel like tears of sadness turn to tears of joy when we really pay attention to ourselves. I call them golden tears, and they get us into the flow of grace. And then finally, know yourself. That means, again, just spend this quality time with yourself, that you're not forsaking your own importance. You came here to be the light of the world, period. And any other identity is going to be confusing and make you feel separate from who you truly are. So know yourself. And if you haven't yet seen and experienced yourself as the light of the world, get busy with that during this pandemic. It's a change and a shift and a reorientation that you are the one who's a catalyst here. And it might just be with your own intimate family, might be with animals that you touch. They know they're catalysts. They know. Children know. People who are in their innocent state know this. It doesn't look arrogant. It doesn't look egotistical. It feels like a soothing balm. Even if it's just a smile, even if you're just sitting there doing nothing. Be the light that you are. We all need that now. Be the catalyst here in this seeming catastrophe. Okay. Anyone for anything at all?
Yeah, anything from anyone. Just put me in the chat. We could also just take a moment and send Maureen some love.
Thank you. Thank you. No, always use it. Let's right now, as catalysts, send some beautiful healing light to anyone at all who's feeling the challenge of being sick with the COVID virus. Anywhere, all over the world. Now we're sending out rays, beams of light to hundreds of thousands of people. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be at ease. May you know you are loved. May you know you are loved. May you know you are the light. And now just a second wave of that light to all the people who are taking care of people all over the world, all the caregivers who are spending all of their time and energy in this horizontal world, being such tangible light and such healing light. Send them energy as well, and all our love and all of our caring thoughts. And then let's just send world to this beautiful light to leaders all over the world of every nation, of any kind, of any state, of any city, any leader anywhere in the world. Just send them light right now so that they begin to see their way out of all kinds of darkness and into the light. That they can know that silence is profound and golden, and be silent when it's appropriate, and be powerful when it's appropriate, when it shines the light even brighter. And then let's just send light to surround our whole entire globe with healing light right now, seeing this world as the divine sees it, as perfection, as a whole beautiful world of perfection, of our own creation. We could never be dropped. We are of, in and through the light, always, eternally. Okay. All right.
Hard to come back from that. from that last week.
Nice. It took us out of this world and back in.
I just
We're
want to
all
stay
here.
there. Mm-hmm.
And
Oh
thank
my
you to
gosh.
everyone who has these beautiful backgrounds, making me feel like I'm in these exotic places. All right.
Maureen, thank you so, so much. Again, kind of an understated feeling of gratitude.
Yeah.
Those words. There aren't
For
really
all of you
words.
too. So much gratitude just in being here. You know, you definitely are the light. Just get out there and experience it more and more by sharing it to know it.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody.
Thanks, Maureen. I'll be sending out the...
Blissful,
Oh,
blessed day.
Yeah, thank you. Absolutely. You too have a blessed day.
Okay.
Just know, everybody who's here, I'll be sending the recording out later, and as I always do. And next week we have Katrina Boss, who's actually she has an interesting topic, quantum physics and the orgasmic state.
Ooh.
So we love about vibration. Yeah, that'll be interesting. She's joining us from Canada.
Nice.
So come back. And anyway, everybody just have a really blessed day. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Lots
Maureen.
of love. Be the light. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Blessed day to you too.